Hello, I'm Robert and welcome to No Condemnation. I wanted to start off with this introductory video about why I started this channel, why I think it's an important thing, and to invite you to become a part of it. You see, I'm concerned for the church. Quite honestly, I think the church has lost its way. Now, first and foremost, I need to tell you that I believe in the church. I believe it has a place in our society. I believe it has a place in this world. It has a work to do, but it's failing. A lot of people are leaving the church. New generations are saying, no, not interested, no thank you. And certainly as we've seen churches close because of the pandemic, as they have begun to reopen, we're seeing that attendance is only running about 25 to 30% of what it was beforehand. Now, it'd be very easy to just say, well, it's the pandemic's fault. You see, we got used to not going to church. But I don't think that's it. I think the pandemic has only served to expose more of the problems that the church faces today. You see, I think the church has forgotten its role. An example I can think of is I was pastoring a church back in North Carolina. While I was there, I noticed that the church had an organ, but nobody ever played it. At first, I thought, well, the organist moved on or perhaps passed away and they hadn't been able to find somebody to play. But I started asking about it and found out this story. There used to be a person that played that church. She was a young person. She was still in the community, but she didn't come anymore. And so I asked some more, and it turns out this person who had grown up in the church, her parents were still very active members in that congregation, and she had played that organ for the church worship for years and years, faithfully, very dedicated. But as life happens, she experienced a divorce. Now, in a time when she was hurting and needing help and support more than possibly any other in her life, the church came to her but didn't offer support. Instead, they offered judgment. You see, they said, we don't believe in divorce, and since you're now divorced, you can no longer lead worship services. And she left devastated. It devastated her parents. They carried that wound with them for years afterwards. You see, that's where I think the church has failed miserably. When we look at society, when we look at our culture, and we face the problems that are out there, whether it be a pandemic or a natural disaster or just changes in society itself, the church doesn't become a place of unity. Instead, it becomes a placement of judgment and condemnation. For many years now, the church, or certainly the evangelical church, has gotten involved in the culture and society in ways that have been nothing but detrimental to it. It has been judgmental. It has been an attempt to try to control. It has just failed in its mission, in its calling. But you see, despite all that, I still believe in the church. I believe it has a place, and I believe its call is just as alive today as it ever has been. And so my intent was to start this discussion. So I hope you will join me. I hope you'll come back and see some of the different discussions we may have. I invite you to share your stories, share your feelings about the church and its place. I promise no condemnation. I won't always agree, but I think we can discuss this in a way that's helpful to all of us. Because the first way to fix a problem is to acknowledge that it exists. And that's what we have to do. Rather than try to find some new program that glosses over the issues or some fancy, shiny thing that'll draw people in, I want us to be true agents of change, true places of love and support for anyone that comes. So let's talk. Thanks for joining me for this one, and I hope you will come back and listen to some more. And please, please share some comments. Tell me some things you'd like for us to talk about when it comes to the church and its place in our lives. Thank you.